Good morning, Floss Tube. This is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Thursday, the 13th of February. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back if you've watched my videos before. This is my, I want to say 38th video. Pretty sure it's the 38th video. I've been trying to make one since my birthday, which was the 23rd of January. I made one right around then, but it was so awful I didn't ever post it. So I've been trying since then to make another one. And it seems like every time I try, something comes along to interrupt. So we're going to give this a shot. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. The store will open in about an hour. So hopefully I can get through what I need to, and I'll remember what I wanted to talk about. I was going to be all organized and make notes, and that did not happen. No, it did not. So we're just going to wing it, and that'll just have to be good enough. I hope you're all having a good February. Ours has been fairly good. Hang on, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. There. Where was I? February. Hope you're having a good one. Valentine's Day is Friday. I've already got my Valentine's gift, which I will show you. I wasn't really expecting one, but, well, I'll tell you the story later. So, what has happened since the last video? Well, I turned 60 on January 23rd, and it seems like, I don't know, something happened to my body at that point, because, oh my God, the wrinkles all of a sudden are 3 times as deep as they were, and the bags under my eyes are getting baggier, and I'm falling apart. I hope that that process slows down a little bit, because otherwise everything's going to be hanging on the floor in another month. So, okay, birthday. I celebrated my 60th birthday, and by celebrate I mean I came to work, I went home, Dan was teaching, I sat and stitched. Birthdays are not a real big thing in our family once you're grown up. I made a big deal of it when the kids were little, but not so much now that they're grown up. But it was a good day. I had a good time. I enjoyed stitching. I've been working on the retreat project most of the last few weeks since my last video, but the stitching part is done now, and I'm trying to gather the finishing supplies and get that all finished up. I think they're gonna like it. I like it. I hope everyone that comes to retreat does. Retreat sign-ups started on my birthday, and gosh, we filled up right away. It's actually going to be the largest retreat. If everyone shows up, it'll be the largest retreat we've had by one. They've been kind of smaller the last couple of times, but this time it's there's a lot of interest. So I have a wait list, and looking forward to that. Plans are coming together, and I'm kind of excited about it. So that happened. Abby was supposed to have her baby. Well, she was due on the 21st of February, and they had decided, due to some health concerns, that they would go ahead and induce her on the 14th. So baby T was supposed to be born on Friday, this Friday. But, as so often happens in life, she ended up having preeclampsia, and the baby was born on the 3rd of February. And Mom and baby are doing fine. It was a kind of a rough rough delivery. Apparently Abby's pelvis is very, very tiny, and because Abby is diabetic, even though she was premature, she wasn't all that tiny. She wasn't huge, but at 6 pounds 15 ounces, she had a hard time getting through the birth canal and ended up with a head that was shaped kind of like a squid with that bulgy thing kind of down behind. The first time I saw it kind of really wigged me out, but her head looks perfect now, so it's all good. And so yes, 6 pounds 15 ounces. She was 20 inches long. Mom and baby are doing well. Her name is Reese Alexandra, and we think she's pretty special, which is normal for a grandparent. I have a picture here that I printed out. That is baby Reese. She looks a lot like her mama sometimes and a lot like her daddy other times, so I think she's going to be a good mix of both. She's a good baby according to Abby. Very good baby. So we're pretty pleased with her. We went up to the hospital, of course, because Abby lives out on the farm, but she decided to have her baby here in Omaha at the hospital out west. And so Dan and I both saw the baby when she was here in town, but we went out Sunday to the farm to visit. And as usual, nothing goes smoothly for us. So we were on our way out there. We were probably, 20 minutes into the hour and 20-minute trip, and Abby called to say that the power had gone out, and which is, would be fine, but they live in a Morton building at the moment, and the heat goes off, it gets cold, so they were going to have to leave. Plus, being as they're in the country, the electricity goes off and you have no water or toilets. And we also we're going out with Adam, Marcia, and the girls, and you kind of need a toilet for the girls. So Abby called to say that the power was off, and we made the decision to hold off on going all the way out to the farm, and decided to hedge our bets and go to the antique mall that's between here and the farm, and maybe waste some time there, and then they would call and we'd be halfway there, instead of turning around and going home and waiting for the call and then going out there. So hedged our bets, went to the antique mall, wasted about 2.5 hours there, bought a couple things, one of them being my Valentine's gift, and no call from Abby, so we decided, the girls were tired at that point. They were so good in the antique mall. Just so good. But, we decided they weren't going to call anytime soon, so we headed back to town and just pulled into Adam's driveway, and the phone rang and the power was back on. It was about, 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock by then. And we'd left the house at about 8:20. Adam, Marcia, and the girls decided they wouldn't go out, so we went home. Dan and I went home and let the dogs out, and then headed back out to the farm. And we didn't stay for very long, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, and then we had to get back into town because we needed to help my sister Melanie and her husband are starting a renovation in their kitchen and living area, and they needed help removing the appliances because the contractor was coming the next day to start the job. So we had to get back to town so we could do that. But it was a nice visit, and it was good to see the baby and hold her again and cuddle on her. So that happened, and then, let's see, I took a trip to Vegas for the framing convention, and as usual, as I said earlier, nothing ever goes smoothly, so took Kim with me, who helps with the framing. And we had called for an Uber, so we were waiting in the parking garage at the airport for the Uber, and they pull in and then they text you the spot that they're in, which just happened to be across the way from where we were standing and waiting. And so we both grab our stuff and head over there and get in the car and head out, and about 5 minutes into the trip to the hotel, Kim goes, "Where's my purse?" It was not in the car. It was not in the trunk. She'd left it on the bench back in the parking garage. So, we went back to the airport, but it was gone. And in it was, of course, her ID and her iPad and her earbuds and cash and credit cards and prescription glasses and kind of everything that you need. So we spent the next couple of hours trying to figure out what to do and who to talk to, and wondering how she was going to get back on the plane on Wednesday, which ended up being okay. They took a prescription bottle with her name, and then she had the tag from the show with her name on it, and they took that as ID. But they did pull her to the side and went through her luggage pretty good and asked her a few questions. So, but it was just not a good start to the trip. The trade show, which the last time I went to took about 2 days to go through, took us 45 minutes. So we were done by noon on Tuesday. We got there late in the evening on Monday. We were done with the trade show by noon on Tuesday, so pretty much we just sat in the hotel, and she watched movies on my iPad, and I cross-stitched, and we left the next day. So it was kind of a wasted trip, waste of money. Very disappointed. The food was horribly expensive. So I never have to go back again. I think that was my last trip to Vegas. Other than that, nothing too exciting has happened. Amy is done with her interviews for her postdoc, and I think it's the 24th when she'll find out where she'll be for the next year or two. Could be she stays in North Carolina, or it could be she goes to Minneapolis, Ann Arbor, or Boston. I don't know that Boston would be her first choice because they'd be living in their car. Boston's cost of living is just too high. But she could surprise me, and that's where she could end up. You never know. But I think it'll be, if she makes her decision based on weather, she'll stay where she's at, because Ann Arbor and Minneapolis are both cold. But I keep telling her to make her decision based on future employment opportunities. But she's going to do what she's going to do, so we'll wait and find out, and then we'll be happy for her, whatever she decides. So, other than that, it's just been retreat, and market. All those market releases are sneak peeks are coming out. I've been posting them fast and furious on my website, and taking pre-orders for that. It's about 3 weeks, and we leave 3 weeks from yesterday. We'll be on the road, and I'm taking Connie, Lori, and Doreen this year. So looking forward to going. It's always nice to reconnect with people you've met before and meet the new designers and chat with the long-standing designers, and it's just a good time. Exhausting, but it's a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I have bored you enough with chit-chat. I'm going to start in on What do I want to do? Okay, so I haven't a lot of progress to show you on my stitching, because obviously I've been working on the retreat stuff, but I've done little bits on different things. I've also kitted up 5 or 6 things. Seems to be a thing. I think I've decided, you know, if I don't kit it up and I don't start it, I can't finish it if I never start it. So why not just start it? I do need to save a few things for, we're going to do mini at retreat again, which we did last year for the first time. And that was where we had a new start for every day of retreat. So if you came on Thursday, it would be 4 new starts. And you worked on a start for 4 hours, and then switched to whips and worked on each whip for 2 hours the rest of the day. And of course your new start could become a whip. So, and then when the 2 hours or 4 hours was up, we put them all on the table and had this beautiful display of awesomeness. So we had so much fun doing it last year. We're gonna do a repeat. It was completely voluntary. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it was a lot of fun to see what everyone was working on. 'Cause you don't always, yes, you get up and you walk around and you talk to people, but people switch in and out of their projects so often, and then they stick them in their bag, and you never see what they've worked on. So it was awesome because you got to see what everyone was working on. So anyway, I have little bits of stitching that I've started, and I'll show you what I've kitted, and probably by then it'll be time to, and I'll show you my Valentine present. But probably by then it'll be time to close it down and clean up my mess before the shop opens and the stitchers start arriving, because it's Thursday, so stitchers will be here if they decide to go out in the cold, because it's bitter out there today. I think our temperature was at minus, I think they said last night it was supposed to get to -4 for the actual temperature, and then the wind is blowing pretty bad, so we had like -25 to 30 wind chill factor this morning. That's supposed to die down. The sun is out, so it doesn't look horrible. And the wind is supposed to die down a little bit, and we're supposed to get to 13 degrees. So, yay. And then I think it's supposed to moderate then. We've really had a good winter. Overall, it's been a good winter. Not much snow and not real cold until, of course, today. All right, let's focus, Julie. So the first one, and I found this kind of strange. Well, not strange, but funny. Brenda and the Cereal Starter, on their, I think it was their last video, their featured designer was La Di Da. And I watched their video on the way out to Abby's on Sunday. And they were showing all the, I mean, I swear they have almost everything that La Di Da has ever designed between the two of them. And I kept watching for this particular one because I had started this, and I kept watching for them to show it. And as I told them in my comment, if maybe I looked away to make sure Dan was still on his side of the road or something, but I don't know if I missed it or they just didn't have it in their stash, which I found strange because it's one of my favorite pieces. But apparently they didn't have it, so they were going to look it up because it didn't sound familiar to them either. Anyway, it's Aunt Amy's house. And I like it because it's got the yellowy house, plus it's got Amy's name in it. So, you're not going to be able to see the colors so much because glare. But they're nice soft colors. They're all DMC. I haven't made any substitutions at all. I am stitching it on 40 count earthen. Yep, 40 count earthen is what I'm stitching it on. And again, not a huge start, but I don't know. Do you guys, let me ask you, when I start something, I tend to want to jump around and so that I can put all the different colors, as many as possible, on the cloth and make sure that I really like how it looks. Do you guys do that? Because I noticed that I have been doing that. I don't know if I've always done it, but lately I have been doing that. I've been kind of jumping around and trying to just get all the colors on there so I can see whether I really truly like it. So it's kind of choppy because of that, because I was trying to get all the different colors on there. So earthen, as you know, is kind of a pinky brown, or pink with brown. It's a Picture This Plus fabric. And the only change I have made so far is this chimney is supposed to be the same color as the house. And I wanted a brick chimney, so that's what I've done. So one little thing at the border. Yep. All the leaves around the window. I figured it would be easier to get as you can see the vines. See the vines all over the house. So I'm gonna get the windows and the vines and the outline of the door done, and then do the fill on the house, because I think it'll just be easier that way, I think. So that is my start on Aunt Amy's house, and I am liking it. That's that. What's that? So I did a little on that. And then I decided to do the Fox and Rabbit Linen and Threads Mystery Sampler. Now, yes, this is part 1. I am behind. I will always be behind. But that's okay. It's not a race. My bedroom, I'm using verdigris. And my guest bedroom is that teal and brown. So, and I've always wanted to stitch with that color. And I'm stitching this on, do I have my card? Parchment, 46 count Weeks Dye Works parchment using the Zweigart base. And I am loving how it's turning out. It'll go perfect in the bedroom. And then I'll have something on the wall in there, providing I finish. But I think I will, because I really like how it's working out. So that's 46 count parchment for the Linen and Threads 2020 Mystery Sampler. And I am still working on part 1. I'll get to part 2 someday. Got it in my nice little pumpkin bag. Okay. I have just a tiny start on this one. There's a story behind this. I think I have mentioned a time or two that getting fabric from certain dyers has been like pulling teeth. But I want to give big props to Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics, because I placed an order with her. I got a response right away that she was adding it to the queue, and I had my fabric in hand, I don't know, it was maybe 4 weeks, a month, maybe 5 weeks, I don't know, but within a timely fashion. It was not 6 months down the road, it was not 8 months down the road, it wasn't a year down the road. It was within a very timely fashion. And Leslie, thank you so much for your awesome customer service. I can't tell you how pleased I am. So I got in my order of fabrics, and one of the fabric colors that I ordered was called Properly Primitive, I think is what it's called. Yep, Properly Primitive. And I fell in love with the color. And I'm like, ooh, I need to find something that I can stitch on that fabric. Well, I didn't find just one thing to stitch on it. I found 2 things. So then I had to sit and stare at them for a few days trying to figure out which one I really wanted to start. One was really, really big and one was not as big. And I'm like, do I want to do something that I have a remote chance of finishing anytime soon, or do I want to start this big sampler and who knows when it would get finished? And I waffled and I waffled and I waffled, and finally I just decided to kit them both up. So this is Elizabeth Clark 1822 from Brenda Gervais at With Thy Needle and Thread. And she's a big girl. She's not huge, but she's a big girl. 218 by 265. And I'm doing it on 40 count. And she used quite a bit of floss, multiple skeins, even on the higher count. I think I'm gonna probably need more than one skein on some of them, but you can't really see the colors real well. But this is my teeny tiny little start. I think it goes this way. But isn't that pretty fabric? It's green and kind of a peachy tan color. And I just think it's so pretty. And again, I started in the middle on this one because I want to get to that house, because I think that house is going to take a while to stitch. So what you see is this part right here that I started on. And then I'm going to work down and then do the house and all this grass fill. And then it's just a question of doing the rest of it. But I think it's going to be really, really, really pretty. Oh, and I got to show you, I don't know if I showed you this bag. It might have been in the video that never got posted. But my friend Carla makes bags for me. And I usually go buy the fabric and then she makes the bags. Sorry, you were talking to my head. Or looking at my head while I was talking. Anyway. But this is a line of fabric called the Ghastlies. And I just had to have a bag with that woman on it. Look at that face. Is that an evil looking mean face? But you gotta love her. And the cat, did you see the cat? He looks like he's got to be up his bonnet. Anyway, I love this bag. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, and the last new start, and I started this one last night, so it's new, as opposed to just regular new. This is way bigger than I anticipated, and I should have known from the size of the book it's in, but it's the Springfield 1817 sampler. Twin Peak Primitives. There's all the colors. Made a few tweaks, but mostly kept to the original. I just added a couple of overdyes for the grassy areas because I like to have some movement to that. And the roof of the house, I think I did an overdye for the roof of the house. So the grassy areas, the tree, this tree, I'm doing in overdyes. But this is that chart that, you know, if you show that you've bought it, then you get entered in the drawing to go on a trip with Pam and Steph and over to the Netherlands and I think it's Italy. But I just thought it was pretty, so I decided I would stitch it. She is large, huge. 371 by 416. So even on, and I'm doing it on 46 count, but even on 46 count it was like 25 by 23 that you needed for the fabric, and I was like, holy moly. Anyway, this is, excuse me, I gotta take the chart off of it. So this is my start. And I got that much done last night. I think it's going to be really pretty. And this is 46 count vintage pecan butter. Big piece of it. So I think that's going to be really pretty when it's done. Dan asked me if I was going to go ahead and enter the drawing, and I'm like, I don't know, that would require me to travel, and my last travel experience wasn't the greatest, so I don't know. It would be fun. It would be terrifying for me. I don't do change or travel well. But it would be fun. Then I worry about the food aspect of things because you know how picky I am about food. Would they even have food that I would eat? So I don't know. I don't know. All right. That is what I've been working on since I finished the retreat piece. And Dan has a finish, which I will show you right now. He's so proud of it. Still saying he's going to beat me at the fair this year. Which, speaking of the fair, it is now February. You should be working on your fair entries and figuring out what categories they fit in, because most people's fair books should be already out online, so you can see what the categories are and kind of figure out what you can put into which categories. So that's just your little public service announcement for today. Let's all put something in the fair this year, even if it's just one thing. Put yourself out there. You can do it. I know you can. So he's still going on about how he's going to beat me at the fair this year, and if he does, that's just fine and dandy. I don't care, because I don't do it for the ribbon. I do it to keep the love of cross stitch out there. So he finished Artful Offerings. I don't know, country something. I can't remember the name of it. But he got it done. And I had some fat frames picked, and you know, it kind of has a country feel to it. But that black horse is so intensely black that all of the distressed frames that I have just really didn't look the way I wanted them to look. So I had laid out this frame on the counter, and Dan came in and he immediately pointed to it. So this is what we're going to frame it in, which is maybe an unusual choice, but I think I really like it. What do you think? Do you like it? Not that I'm going to change it, I've already ordered it, but I really like how it looks. Which like I said, it does surprise me because I thought I would want more of a rustic look to it, but that black is so intense that nothing rustic really looked the way I wanted it to look. So, all right, that is all the actual stitching that I can show you. I'm gonna quickly show you my Valentine's gift. I've had this on my bucket list for years, and I don't know, they just around here sell for so much money that I didn't think it would ever happen. But they had a sale, and this one, it's got some issues. It needs a little love. But I asked Dan if I could have it, and he said, Happy Valentine's Day. So she came home with me. She's big and heavy, but I love her. Isn't she pretty? It says Goff's Braid. Put her down because she, like I said, is heavy. So she's got the drawers. They're just empty drawers. Haven't decided what I'm going to put in it yet. On the back side, there's writing. It says Goff's Braid, whatever, best something. I gotta put it down, it's heavy. But I absolutely love it. It's missing one of the, jeez, I don't know, can you see? Yeah. See how the lower knob has the gold thing around it and the upper knob doesn't? It's missing one of those. So I'm hoping if I can go on eBay, maybe I could find the gold part and get that replaced on there. But anyway, I can mark that off my bucket list. I told there were two of them there. There was this one and another one. The other one was bigger. They were about the same price. But I like the fact that this had the recessed part that says Goff's Braid in it, and the other one didn't have that on it. So I chose this one. Dan wanted the other one. But it was my Valentine's present, so I got to pick, right? All right. So, oh, hello, baby. Just a minute. Baby wants to say hi. There's the Remy baby. Yes, there's Remy. She is almost a year old now. She was born, I think, on February 26th last year, so she's almost a year old. A little bit quirky sometimes. Likes to bark at dogs on the TV. Just dogs, though. Other animals we don't care about. But if a dog even walks across the screen, doesn't have to make any noise. Just has to walk across the screen and she will bark at it. Go running towards the TV like it's in her living room. Yeah, don't ya? Yes, that's a nice baby dog. Yeah. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna put you back down. I had to chain her up this morning because she keeps going up to the door. I don't know if, I think I probably mentioned it, but our vet is right next door. And that means there's dogs. And so she barks. So I chained her to the table so she couldn't get up there and bark at the dogs while I'm making this video. All right, where are we? We are at What Have I Kitted Up? We'll start right here with Feliz Navidad from Blackbird Designs. I am doing it on 40 count. Well, I will do it on 40 count Legacy from Picture This Plus. That's the colors. So that's on my to-start pile. And this one is Francis Poole, which I have had in my stash forever, but never kitted it up, and decided no time like the present. Francis Poole from Brenda Gervais. And I don't know that you're going to be able to see the colors real well. I'm missing a few of them because, you know, Gentle Arts. Nobody can get those. So I have those, and this is 40 count. Let's see, do I have it written down up here? I think it's 40 count vintage lentil from Lakeside Linens, which I think will be beautiful with that. Moving on to another Twin Peak Primitives. I did the Stitches Toolbox sampler. I thought that was just really cute. I think I must be the only one because it hasn't sold anything. But I decided to kit it up using silks. I think there's only 4 colors in there. I think. So I'm using Quiet. I'm using an MPI and 3 carries. And I'm stitching it on 46 count parchment from Weeks Dye Works, where I will be stitching it on. I kitted it with 40 count, but I just thought that was really a pretty, you know, it's got the pretty alphabet. I like the border, it's unusual. It's got a cool pair of scissors. I just really like that. And then I like the little pillow over here too. So, love it. And then I had a customer come in and buy this chart, which I had been eyeballing for a long time, and she kitted it all up, and I thought, well, now I've got to have it. So it jumped into my drawer, and then out of the drawer into the, okay, we're kitting it. So it is a drawn thread, To Everything is Season. And I kitted it using the called for needlepoint ink, silks. And I chose vintage flagstone, 40 count vintage flagstone for the fabric. So I don't think you're going to be able to tell what the colors look like since I have them all bagged up, but there you can kind of imagine what it'll look like. Pretty. And then this is the other one that I chose for the Under the Sea Properly Primitive. The Where Hearts Rest. From With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm seeing a theme here. Colors are pretty. And again, the 40 count Properly Primitive. And those colors really look stunning on this fabric. It's gonna be pretty. I think I've mentioned a time or two how much I like a checkered house. So I decided it was time to kit up Bells on Christmas Day. I didn't particularly care for the fabric with it though. I thought it overpowered the colors a little bit. So, and I think it was Is it oaken? Hang on a second and I'll check. There's a lot of cute patterns in this book. If you don't have it, you can get your hands on it. I highly recommend it. 36 count oaken is what's called for. And I am doing it on 40 count heritage. Is it heritage? I have my little notes here. Yep, heritage from Picture This Plus. So it's still very mottled, but it's a lighter, it's a green color, which Christmas green, good. And the colors really look nice on it. It doesn't seem to overpower it like the other did. And that is it for this week. That's all I kitted up. I've got my eye on a couple other things, and got my eye on a few things that will be coming out at market. I'm really, really anxious to see Teresa Kogut's samplers that she designed. I really am anxious to see those. Trying to think what else I've seen that I'm intrigued by. A lot of the designers haven't released big enough pieces to really tell, but Lila's Studio has one that I think I'm going to need. I can't think of what else. Have you seen anything that you think you're going to have? It gets kind of exciting here in the next couple of weeks. That I know that more and more are going to be posted, and it's going to really start getting exciting, and I can't wait. So, anyway, I hope you are having a great February. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you, whether you have a Valentine or not. Be your own Valentine. And yeah, love yourself. I don't think I know anything else. I'm sure I could sit here and rattle on and bore you some more, but I don't think I will. I'm going to clean up my mess. It's about 20 minutes to 10 now, and I put all this away before the stitchers get here. So I will leave you. You know, maybe I'll pause this and see how many stitchers show up. Because of the cold weather, they may not. But maybe I'll just pause it and show you what they're working on if they show up. Hopefully if I pause it, I don't lose it. But I think that's what I'm going to try and do, is pause it. So, fingers crossed.
Well, I got banding.
And I'm back. The stitchers are arriving, the ones that are coming anyway. A couple of them are staying home due to the weather. So I'm going to share what Deb is working on right now. She's got Summer from Rosewood Manor. And there's the Summer. And I think this is Spring that she's got done over here. Yep, it says Spring.
We're gonna have the red one to do, but I only do that.
So that's what she's working on.
It's not a very big.
Partially, and then Rags, be quiet. And then she's working on My Big Toe Quaker Harmony.
Oh, you gotta let her know what you're doing.
And let me see if we can.
Hi, Rodney. Hi, Rodney.
Hi, Rodney.
Rodney. Hello.
So that's that one. Deb, is this 28 count over 1?
Yes.
28 count over 1.
Oh,
Very pretty. Jane, may I have yours? Jane's working on the Hoopla Thanksgiving,
Sherry probably told her she wasn't. But I love that one as you that lilac.
which really stitches up much cuter than this picture.
The coloring down the bottom.
The colors are better.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Thank you, Jane.
Here we go.
Hey, Joyce, can I see what you're working on?
Hey, yeah.
You guys are all familiar with this one,
Just what you
but
worked
Joyce
on
is
the pattern.
doing Death by Cross Stitch,
Just your pattern and your,
just all in black on, what is it, 25 count over one? 25 count over one. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That's really cute. Sue, do you have your stuff out that I can show? Okay. That's fine. And your cute bag. I want to show your cute bag too.
that is cute,
Sue is doing the linen and threads stitch along. She's a lot further along than I am.
Well, my dream is going to soon be on the road.
And what's your thread? The DMC, what is it?
Spent all day yesterday.
115?
And she was good.
So the variegated red from
Her sister
DMC.
came in and gave her a letter and they.
And I wanted to show you her cute cardinal bag.
Well, she
Isn't
did,
that
but
cute?
then she cried clear to the time I left and went home.
Because her sister-in-law was saying goodbye.
Thank you, hon. Rodney, you got anything you want to?
They didn't stay and talk to her or nothing.
Okay.
They left the-
This is a la-di-da. I can't remember the name of it.
Spring hair.
Spring hair, Rodney says.
Well, it is, you figure.
And he
my
put
sister-
the pink flower in there rather than doing the browns. And then the green
I'm
center,
here by myself now.
which I think is a very cute touch. And then this one is Fire and Eyes from
Ship's Manor.
Ship's Manor.
Karen's coming down to spend time with Cheryl and.
I'm assuming
we
that's the
got
top.
shower, so,
Yes.
she'll be down next weekend.
And this is over one on
28.
28 count.
Matthew and then their baby.
Very pretty.
But yeah, it's gonna be kind of.
And that's all I have for you today. Everyone else is staying home because of the weather. So, I'm gonna call this good. I hope you all have a good rest of the week and get lots of stitching done. Take care till next time.
Sure it does.